For entrepreneurs, managing time, or so we think, can be one of the most important things that we do. But can we really manage time? Stay tuned and we'll find out if that is so. Welcome everyone to another Momentum Monday, the Supercharge with Emily podcast. Today we're having a special Momentum Monday Masterclass. Yes, indeed, where we'll cover a topic that is really essential to the foundation building of entrepreneurship and the whole structure of one's business and entrepreneurial journey. And these are skills that you can apply regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur or not, whether you are thinking of transitioning to entrepreneurship, whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, whatever state you are, or just someone who wants to better be able to engage with their time. And I'm going to be very careful as I use the term time management. So in today's special masterclass, time management for the time-strapped entrepreneur, 3 tips to prioritize your priorities. Now, I have shared other videos and podcast topics on prioritizing your priorities, and I encourage you to go and check those out. I've spoken at length on the topic, but today we're going to add a new dimension and really take it a step further to further delve into what does this mean. So the first question that I have for you regarding this topic is stay tuned. Okay, well, this is a slide. That question is coming next. The question is coming next. But I have this slide in here for those of you who are either new to my podcast or new to watching me, just to give you a little overview or quick intro to who I am. Emily McHugh. I'm a business coach, the Supercharge coach, and guiding entrepreneurs on their entrepreneurial journey. And I'm also an international trade consultant. I have a long background in international trade and international business. And I encourage all entrepreneurs to have a global mindset, a global viewpoint of their business from day one. You don't have to be a big business to be a global business. So start thinking global from day one. And if you'd like more on that, I have other videos on that as well. Last week, I had a wonderful guest, Ed Campy, who shared insights of his travels as a business executive and some tips for people going international. I'm also an author, the author of The Little Girl's Guide to Entrepreneurship, What I Know Now That I Sure Wish I Knew Then. And that is a semi-autobiographical book and the foundation for the curriculum for my Supercharge Club. And so, which is an online community of like-minded entrepreneurs who are keeping each other company on the entrepreneurial journey. And also, last but not least, I am an entrepreneur, having started my own successful business, Kusuri, over 20 years ago, designing stylish travel accessories and travel bags and tech cases. And so check us out on kusuri.com. And if you want to connect with me, just scan this little QR code here at emilymchugh.com/connect. And we can connect. Yay. So that's a little bit about me. So let's get on to the question that I have for you. And I'm going to do that timpani roll one more time because it's deserving of the question. Okay, so why? Yeah. So, yes, indeed. We're going to start off by asking ourselves a question. Why are entrepreneurs time-strapped in the first place? Like, where does this time-strapping come from? So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you're going to tell me if it's true or false. So, too much to do, too little time. I think we can all agree that's probably true, or at least that's what we think. Never-ending to-do list. Don't know where to start or what to do next. Random emergencies and distractions come up. Procrastination, and maybe a general lack of energy. And so if you can select from any of these lists, let me know which ones you identify with, which ones speak to you. And do you ever feel like you don't have any control over any of it? So that's another dimension of this. Like all the time is passing. We're now in October, depending on when you're watching this, October 2nd, 2023. And it's like, where did the year go? This is the beginning of the fourth quarter. And here we are. And it's like, but my goal list is so long. My to-do list is still so long. When am I going to get it all done? Good question. Good question. So this is the question I have for you. This is the big question. Can we manage time? Can we manage time? And I want you to tell me wherever you're watching me from, yes or no. Yes or no. Drop it in a comment. Yes or no. We can manage time or we can't manage time. Let me know what you think. What is your first instinct on this question? Because this is really the crux of the matter. It's the vocabulary that we're using to describe time that may be a part of the challenge we're having with all the other things I just mentioned before. So, are you ready for the answer to this question? At least from my humble perspective. But you'll still find out. Are you ready? Are you ready? The answer is no. We cannot manage time. But you might say, but why? Why? Isn't time management a thing? Isn't time management something that we hear about all the time? Well, we certainly do. And our common lexicon uses that, hence the title for today's topic, because if I titled it something else, you might be like, what is she talking about? So at least you know what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to change the narrative. And so because time cannot be managed. Time cannot be managed. That was my inner Julie. Okay, time cannot be managed. So therefore, what can we manage? If we cannot manage time, then what gets managed? Well, stay tuned. Let's see. You can manage the allocation of your time, the use of your time. First of all, you can start by managing yourself. That's who needs management. You, not the time. It's you and how you use time. And when I say you, I mean me, because I'm number one on that list. We all are on that list. You can also manage the amount of time you allocate to something, the amount of time you actually spend, and really monitor that. How much time are you spending scrolling on Instagram? How much time are you spending mindlessly scrolling through anything? As opposed to maybe dedicated time. This is the time I'm going to spend to do this for the purpose of either mindless scrolling or for the purpose of intentional looking for information on a particular topic, seeking to engage, whatever it is your proactive process is. But you're making a concerted effort about what you're doing. It's not just happening to you. You are taking control of how you use and spend your time. And finally, access to your time. Who do you give access? To whom do you grant access to your time? To whom do you grant access to get on your schedule? Someone calls you out of the blue. Do they have the right to just talk to you whenever they choose to? That's why we have something called voicemail. That's why we have something called skip call or whatever. Okay? Because you have a schedule that you have to follow. So I want you to think about this, how you allocate the use of your time, the amount of time that you spend, and the access that you grant to your time by others. So the first tip, if you will, the big tip is number one, awareness of the use of your time. Are you aware? Can you acknowledge and recognize patterns, habits, and trends in how you're spending your time? That is really the first step in this process. Just understanding what you're doing, what you tend to do. And some people call this a time audit. That might sound a little stiff, but call it what you will. It's the same concept of just taking note. And the reality about it is that your time, you may use your time differently at different times. If you're not really making a specific schedule or system of how you do things, it may become very random. So you want to make a note of, is it random? Is it haphazard? Or am I being systematic? Am I being systematic and really getting things done in a very specific way. And if that's the case, then wonderful. Wonderful indeed. So that's step number one, be aware. Number two is assess the ideal use of your time. What does that mean? How do you want to use your time? Ideally, if all was left to you, if you had no pressing obligations here and there, how would you design your schedule to be? And establishing boundaries between time and space and identifying what is important to you versus what is important to someone else. Okay? That is really, really important. Someone may ask you to do something and you're like, it's important to them, but it is not important to me. Now, what does it take for it to become important to me? Maybe it should become important to me, or maybe it should not, relative to the other things that you have on your schedule, on your time frame to do. So this is something I want you to really take some time to meditate on. If you're watching the replay, come back, rewatch, re-listen to this again on the podcast, because it's really essential that you have this in mind. What is important to you versus someone else, and what boundaries do you need to set to make this work, the ideal use of your time. Can't highlight that enough. And number three, going to allocate and assign time slots. How much time are you spending on each thing? What does it take to really set up this master schedule? And what are the things that you should be allocating your time to? That's a whole other topic for another discussion. But right now, the preliminary steps to paving the way is to just set up in your mind, and maybe even on a sheet of paper or on a system. I personally like to use Notion. That's one of my favorite software tools because I can design it to be almost anything I want and really design my life really in Notion. So I have a Notion video, which I've done. You can check out that. Kind of like an intro to Notion, but more Notion videos will be forthcoming. But in the meantime, I want you to think about what time slots. Now, understand, we know that life can be unpredictable. We know things happen. People get sick. Emergencies come up. All kinds of things pop up in life. So we're well aware of those things and we have no control over it. We can't do anything about those things. But what we do have control over is designing a schedule that even if you have to put something on pause, you can pick it up when you come back to it. You can pick it up. You can get back on track. So the waves of life may bounce against you, if you will, but that doesn't mean you can't have something where you have some design in place that you can move forward with and stop and go as you need to, but at least you have a system in place. And that's what I really want to drive home, because sometimes we default to the excuse that, oh, this happened, oh, that happened, therefore I can't do anything. No, that's called an excuse to derail your progress. We all have setbacks sometimes. You might not be up to it. You might not feel well. All those things we know. So we make allowances for when those situations occur. But that does not prevent or stop the fact that we need to allocate and assign time slots. People, I hope this is resonating. I hope this is resonating because it's really training our minds to have this discipline. And as entrepreneurs, that is what's required in order to manage all the things that you have to do. Managing yourself, managing your activities. Again, you can't manage time, only what you do with it. So let me give you a few tips here. Time allocation routine. Divide your day into 4 key quadrants. Daily duties, things you have to do every day no matter what. Daily goals, the goals you are working toward each day. And here, it's like reserving that space for that goal that you set January or you set earlier in the year that you said you were going to do. And it's that time that you dedicate each and every day or each and every week or however you manage to do it toward that goal that you said you were going to do. And understanding that process. So that's the daily goals, setting aside time for that. Number 3, you have daily appointments. Where do you have to be, when and why? And just knowing what your schedule is like, especially with other people. That's what I consider that. Or, appointment with yourself. And then finally, other activities, sundry activities that you may have to do, chores around the house, laundry, mopping, etc. But they have a specific time and place so they don't overlap into your goal time. They don't overlap into other time. So think of it that way. You may want to reallocate or redesign this time allocation chart to best suit yourself. But the point is, design something that works for you. The next thing is, I want you to think about this, people. This is really important. Do not confuse busyness with business. Busyness and business are totally different things. Okay? So just because you're busy doesn't mean you're doing what you should be doing. We're all busy, but we could be busy doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. So what are you busy doing? Ask yourself that as well in your whole awareness assessment. Am I busy doing what? That is the question for you. So let this sink in, meditate on this, because it really is critical. We have to kind of examine ourselves, look at ourselves, and be really honest about this. So here is, for a business owner, some of the priorities that you need to keep in mind. What activities actually grow your business? What activities lead to your goal, lead to you fulfilling your purpose that you set out to do? Number one, serving with value. Offer value to your customers. A lot of people feel that they have to get paid first. They got to get paid. Well, we're going to come to the paid part in a moment. But people don't pay you if they don't feel that they're getting value. You have to understand. So the value has to come first. And it's this offering to the world that I bring value to the marketplace. And hence, I'm going to share with you how this value, why this is valuable, or why you should understand the value. And in order to do that, you have to build relationships, cultivate and nurture relationships. And again, we talked about this in our interview with Ed in our prior podcast on international trade and building those relationships as the bedrock of expanding internationally. It's also the bedrock of anything in business. It's all about who you engage with and how you interact with people. Number three is, what are the business drivers for your business? What makes your business work? Do you understand the inputs that allow your business to move forward, that allow the value to be able to be brought to the public? What drives your business? What are the market forces, the market demand, supply and demand mechanisms, economics of your business? And finally, number four, earning a profit. I didn't say make money. I said earning a profit. Pricing, knowing how to price your products, know how to do the margins, knowing whether you are profitable or not. All these components coming together ends up in you earning a profit. So it's a difference between just making money and earning a profit. And most people just want to make money, but what you really want to do is earn a profit. That's what you keep. That's what's left over. That's what you actually have to show for all this value and service that you're creating. So take a moment, think about this, because this is really, again, a fundamental part of your business journey and your entrepreneurial journey. And so here's a little chart to kind of give you some tips on how to prioritize your priorities. So let's say, for example, you're trying to decide which priorities should be first, which should be second, which should be third. And let's say here we have three priorities we need to select from. Like, what are we doing first? What's the most important? So you can have any kind of priority that you want. And then along the top, you have categories. So this is kind of like you can do a little spreadsheet, a little chart, a little graph. And so the first column says serve with value, which is going back to what I just said. The second one, business drivers. Number three, build relationships. Number four, profit. Now you can put any categories that you feel that you want to put. The last column I have is the total. So we're going to assign points, maybe on a scale of 1 to 5, if that priority meets those criteria. So you select your criteria or your categories, and you select your priorities in the rows. So the rows are in the priorities are in the rows, and the categories and criteria are in the columns. So priority number one, I might say, serve with value. Am I serving with value doing this thing? Yeah, I give it, nah, this isn't really a valuable thing here. I put it at 1. The business drivers, do I understand the business drivers behind this priority? Yeah, they're really high. Number 4. Does it help build relationships? I can assign 3. And again, these are just random numbers. Is it profitable? Oh, 2. It adds up to 10. So I think I really, in this example, I should have had service value be a higher number. So it should be a higher number. So let's say it's a higher number, okay? But for the purposes of the exercise, it's just to show you that whatever you put in whatever column, it's up to you. When you see the total at the end, whichever has the highest total technically should be your priority, your top priority. So your categories can change. You can put, again, all kinds of things just to ask yourself some questions, to be a little objective in the process of prioritizing your priorities. So let me give you a tangible example. Suppose taxes are due. You have to pay taxes. We all have to pay taxes. That's always going to be priority number 1, okay? And it might be, is it urgent? Do I need to get it done today? Again, if I change my categories, you could use the concept of the Eisenhower matrix, which I think I've spoken about in other videos before. But that's about whether something's urgent, important, can it be delegated or deleted or eliminated? And you might kind of change the headings that way as well. But let's say, you have your taxes to do versus you have a phone call to make versus something, something, something. So you can just put whatever your categories are. Again, this is flexible. It's just to let you know that you can get really objective about this instead of just trying to wonder how to do it. List the priorities, list the criteria, and assign a value, and then add it up, see what's the highest number, and run with that. Okay? See if that works. Let me know if this is helpful to you. I really want to know your feedback from this masterclass if you find this to be useful, because it has helped me, so I hope it will also help you. So finally, let's just wrap up this with a summary. 3 tips to prioritize your priorities. Number 1, be aware of how you're using your time. Be aware of what's going on with your time. Number 2, assess what is your ideal use of time. Like, this is what I really should be doing in order to accomplish the goals that I have. And number 3, allocate the time necessary to do those things. Be able to allocate the time necessary. This is so essential to us. And on a daily basis, if we even stopped and took about a few minutes to just ask ourselves this question, we would be able to really say, yes, I think I can. I'm being aware, I'm assessing, I'm allocating, and as a result, I feel better about how I'm using my time and allocating my time. So you'll see a little QR code here that says get your free gift. If you're not on the Supercharge Weekly newsletter, I encourage you to scan this code and sign up and join us. And the email, the website is emilymchugh.com/free gift. And you get on our weekly newsletter where we have all kinds of tips and insights and encouragement for you, so you don't miss a beat and you know what's going on, and you get tips for your entrepreneurial journey and also events and activities taking place. So do scan that and join our newsletter, get our weekly newsletter. So with that, I want to let you know about an upcoming event scheduled. It is a 2-day Supercharge challenge. So if you need help in further learning how to focus, further helping how to choose your priorities, like what should be on that list for you, then I invite you to the Distraction Elimination for Entrepreneurs Challenge. Yes. Now, it's scheduled for October 24th and 25th. So far, we're kind of on schedule for that. If it changes, I'll let you know. But that's the plan. Either which way, it's going to be happening. So stay tuned for the dates. But for now, block off October 24th and 25th. It's a free challenge, and it's all about sharpening your focus, simplifying your priorities, and really minimizing those distractions. Because one of the things I hear a lot from entrepreneurs is, especially new or aspiring entrepreneurs, what do I do next? What's the next step? Like, there's so many things to do. What exactly should be next? What should be the priority? And people struggle with that. So I'm going to help you in this 2-day workshop to kind of overcome this and get a better perspective on what some of those priorities should be, what they should look like. So if you think this will help you, just let me know below, and I will soon be able to share the link with you. But you can just drop in the comments or give me feedback that this is something you feel will help you, and I will follow up with the link or just send me a DM. But this is really essential to get rid of the things that are cluttering our space and cluttering our mind so that we can focus and we have clear priorities. So this is the highlight for sharing with you today on the whole idea of the 3 tips. And of course, it's a lot more than 3 tips, but the 3 categories of how you are to think about your business, how to think about prioritizing. That's really essential. And if you want ongoing support for your journey, I invite you to check out the Supercharge Club at thesuperchargeclub.com, where we meet every month. We meet twice a month, as a matter of fact, monthly trainings. We have a meeting coming up on Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. And the third Thursday is all about networking and your questions and connecting with each other. And if you want to take that to the next level, you can join the Supercharged CEO, where we have a group coaching session devoted to your business specifically, where you get to ask questions on what is particular to your business and what you need help with. And you can also check that out at the superchargeclub.com/join CEO. So that's what I have for you today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and review. If you're listening on the podcast, write a review for the podcast, like, share, comment, do all those things at Supercharge Coach on YouTube, because we want to get the word out to you. Set your notification bells so you don't miss any episodes and all the excitement that we have for you. Yay! Okay. So with that, I want to thank you all for joining me today. And remember to stay supercharged, and I will see you next time on Momentum Monday, where we'll have another amazing topic. Let me know topics that you want to hear more about as well. I love hearing your feedback on things that you want more in-depth on, and we can explore it, okay? So until then, stay supercharged and have a great week.